Podcast is proudly powered by Battleborn Batteries. Let the power of lithium take you on your journeys across the outdoor world. Battleborn Batteries designs and assembles the industry's top choice for lithium-ion batteries right here in the USA. Reliable, safe, and long-lasting, Battleborn makes for the sustainable and lightweight drop-in replacement for traditional lead-acid batteries. Ready to make the switch to lithium and the switch to green energy? All batteries are in stock now. Shop today at battlebornbatteries.com.
What is up, everybody? Good evening to you all. Welcome to Lines In Live. I'm your host, Justin Patrick. And unfortunately, we are shy our co-host, David. He's got some personal matters he's attending to tonight. So we're going to miss him, but he's got a video that he sent me that we're going to share here in a few minutes. But guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. We got a pretty awesome little show lined up. We're going to be talking to a couple of KFL guys and newly acquired teammates of mine that I'm really excited and eager to get to know more. And we're going to be hearing about KFL. I know a lot of you all probably have delved into it a lot more than I have, but I purposefully have waited off a couple of weeks here, or at least last week, to kind of hear from these guys, what the KFL is all about, and it's one of those pieces of the sport, like you guys have heard me say it a million times, the sport has just grown so much, and it's taken different directions. New avenues are coming up available for anglers, and the KFL is one of those that's really taken off. You're seeing a lot of teams pop up all over the states, and some of these anglers, especially some of the bigger names that we've all heard of, the Jordan Marshalls and Siddiquis and whatnot, getting involved. And we're seeing that on the social media and whatnot. So I'm excited to be a part of it. This is the Granite State Sticks that I've joined up with. They're pressing hard to try and make it down here in our territory for Chickamauga, which is the championship. So I'm rooting for my guys. Hoping to see them down here in the South. But we're gonna be getting those guys on here in a few minutes. But just want to talk about a couple of things real quick. We got West Tennessee Bass Yackers tournament coming up this weekend, Saturday at Pine Lake. So that's in Lexington, Tennessee. $25 entry fee, $5 big bass. Anybody new to the sport or looking to, test your skills, get out there and just see what kayak fishing is all about. Come join us. We kind of do it old school. We don't use Tourney X. It's pay through PayPal, and we do a captain's meeting right there at the ramp first thing in the morning. And then our directors, judge the fish, afterwards. So it's real laid back, bunch of great group of guys and gals, anglers, from all over the West Tennessee area. So come on out and join us. But a couple of guys in the comments, Charles or Seth Breckenridge, what's up, buddy? I know you got that new kayak, man. How you enjoying it? And then David Walker, man, good to see you as always. And hey, by the way, we might get into that a little bit, but they are wanting a KFL team in Mississippi, bro. That's all your alley right there. So maybe you need to get into that. But so yeah, this weekend also Susquehanna River for the Hobie BOS series, and that's one I don't follow too many tournaments that I don't fish in. I'll catch up on the what happened afterwards. But that's one I'm really interested in and eager to look, follow, because a lot of the reports are saying the water levels are down. It's always already a challenge having to drag your kayak over shallow shoals and stuff like that. But with the water levels down, some of these anglers like Jody Queen, who's won it 2 years in a row. Is he going to be able to pull out a third win? With these conditions. So we'll see. But that is a sold out event, 200 anglers in it. And I mean, I know, our buddy David, he's been on the wait list for that ever since it came out, or was released, and he still hasn't made it in. So that is one of those events everybody's always excited about. But I'm looking forward to them coming back down south, Lake Dardanelle. That's my jam right there. Back to river fishing. So I think that's September, but anyways, we'll get to that later. But Tennessee Bass Nation Championship, that's coming up next month, at the end of August, back on Chickamauga. So it has been the last tournament that I had, or a big tournament I had, was on Chick. So I'm going to be right back to back. I highly doubt that the fish that I caught, will be doing the same thing in the same areas, but we'll see. There's always that challenge of, the Tennessee River being drawn down starting in August and stuff like that. So, we'll see how that pans out. But anyways, man, we got a lot to cover tonight. But first, I want you guys to hear from David with his primary tackle product of the week.
Hey guys, just want to talk to you tonight about Crawcane. For those of y'all who are not familiar, it's a great little powder. You just take your favorite bag of plastics, whatever that may be. You guys all know. I mean, you can see I've already got these. This is my little claw bug, all drenched in it already. But what it does is it gives your favorite plastic the smell of crawfish. Basically, it's a salt with a freeze-dried, pulverized crawfish inside of it, and makes the fish just hold on. And you use it on any of your favorites, be it Strike King, Goovin, Zoom, whoever it may be. So try you a piece of these, and I promise you it's going to help. Just make sure you put it in a little bit before. If you're trying to do it fast, just throw it on the dash and let it heat up.
All right, man, good stuff. Appreciate Primary Tackle presenting this episode and this podcast. And want to thank our other sponsor, Battleborn Batteries. So if you're in the market for a lithium battery, go and check them out at battlebornbatteries.com. So let's get our guest in tonight, man. We got a lot to talk about. It might run over an hour, but that's cool. Hope you guys, I know you guys are cool with that. But let's get him in. Jake.
How we doing?
And Steven of the Granite State Sticks. What's up, fellas?
What's going on? Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely, man. Dude, I've been excited for this one, man, because like I said, dude, I just with Steve and me, you were talking, I was like, dude, you're gonna have to fill me in on the KFL stuff. I just haven't really got up to speed on it, so I got a lot of questions. I know there's a Tennessee Shiners team, but I know a lot of people like kind of my community out here in West Tennessee. Not too many people talking about it. A couple guys across the river in Arkansas, but there's not much buzz about it, in this area. So a lot of my viewers, I'm sure are interested to hear, what the scope is on all that. So, but thank you guys for coming, joining in with us tonight. And I want to get a little backstory on both of you all. Jake, we'll start with you, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of how you guys started in kayak fishing.
Yeah, so I'm 20 years old. I live in New Hampshire, and I got into kayak fishing when I was pretty young. There was a lot of times where I was sitting in the front of my dad's kayak, and he was paddling a lot of our local lakes right down the road. And then did that for a while, just sitting in the front. And then when I was 14, I bought a canoe off the side of the road for $65, and I fixed it up, and then I left that one down by the pond right in behind my house, and I would walk to it and take it out with some friends, and did that for a little while, and I fished out of that canoe until I was probably about 15, and then I got my license and started fishing competitively locally in a trail, and still fishing out of an old paddle boat, and Still had the canoe though. Still was fishing in the canoe here and there, and then fished in the paddle boat my first season. Didn't make $1, but I was still young. I was still 15, 16 when I started, and then I fished in the paddle boat the second year, did better, and then I got into a new canoe with an XI3, so that was a huge jump. And then first event with that boat, I won, and then I did better and better, and then really took off from there. Then started getting into KBF stuff, and then now fishing elite kayak, KBF, KFL, the whole 9 yards, local events, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, you're up there in the standings. Second or third in the overall standings?
Yeah, second right now. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, man, you're definitely up there, man. You got that young blood, so you got plenty of energy, man. You're making it happen. I like it. Steve, what's up with you, man? You are the owner of the Granite State Sticks. So, how'd you get started in fishing, man? And how'd you come about getting into the KFL and owning the team?
Yeah, so I've always fished, you know. I live near Cape Cod, so you get salt water and fresh water. I've always fished. I played hockey at a pretty high level. I needed a new hit, so I kind of fell out and I started getting more fishing and learned more techniques. I had one of those Bass Pro pond prowlers, you know, lead battery, going, crush 30 rack, and 2 dozen shiners 10 years ago. You know what I mean? I got one of those like 9-foot sit inside kayaks, and I saw it on Facebook. Guy Derek Brumley might have heard. I followed him. I'm like, this guy's doing tournaments, bass fishing tournaments out of the canoes. You know, then that's when the kayak started. You know, the kayak fishing started. So, you know, I got a bona fide and a new canoe unlimited now. The tournament angling for 4 years, and I love it, man. I mean, I love fishing in general, but you know, this is just awesome. The KFL, actually, that guy Eric Brundle reached out to me, and he started the Massachusetts team last year. He wanted me to be a part of it. At the time, I couldn't do many tournaments because the wife's a nurse. She works, you know, every other weekend, so I didn't get to do many. But she moved her schedule around, so I'd be able to fish for that team last. And you know, just honestly, it's the most fun I've ever had fishing with the team. I mean, being back with the team, like I said, I played football growing up. You know, you guys in the military, you get that ball. Playing on a team, you have that ball. So it's something I haven't had in like a decade. Just being able to fish with those guys, especially guys like Brun, and you know, learn from them, work together to study a new fishery, go to the game, right? So it's you're going here, you're going there, do this bait's work, they're this deep. I mean, it's the most fun I've ever had. So, you know, the league expanded this year. There's 28 teams. And I wanted to start my own team. And the first kid I talked to, I was at the podium at the EKF championship last year, and I stood next to this kid and kicked my ass all last season. You know, 20-year-old kid kicked that team in all year. So I'm like, hey man, can we talk after this? I told him what I was doing. I pretty much said, hey, I'll start a New Hampshire team, but only if you're on it. And together, Jake and I worked. You know, we put the roster together, and you know, we put together a pretty lethal team up here in the Northeast, which is kind of like the group of death. I mean, all these teams are stacked up here. So that's pretty much it.
So, man, it's I kind of compare it to the way a lot of guys and gals get started in the sport. You know, fishing, you know, the grassroots stuff. I mean, because like it is right, you know, in our local club, man, you become a family, dude. I mean, you know, you kind of are a team. Everybody's kind of helping each other out. I mean, you're still competing, but afterwards, you know, you're fist bumping. You know, you're talking about what you did. You become friends. Afterwards, you're having a conversation. You know, it really kind of becomes somewhat of a team, you know, type deal. And then, you know, here in Tennessee, we have the cast organization where the top 8 anglers, including the directors, you know, they go and they fish as a team together in the cast state championship. So, you kind of learn that aspect of it, of working together to accomplish a single goal, winning. So I think it's great, man. It's, and it really seems like, some like teams like yours, you got a lot of great anglers, man, and we're going to get more into it, but just the whole trading and all that kind of stuff, like it's NFL, man, like it's like legit stuff. So
Yeah.
we're going to get into that. But I thought it was cool that you mentioned the Bass Pro Prowler, because when I was a kid, I was enthralled with that thing, man. I wanted one
Right.
so bad.
I'm
I
gonna
still
save up
want that.
$600. Yeah, like
Yeah,
it was,
yeah.
like you're always bank fishing as a kid, and you see that, and it's kind of attainable, right? So like, you got to get out there. So I mean, that's kind of a lot of people's first step, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it now. I'm like, dude, that thing would be a nightmare in the wind.
Right.
Like
Lugging it
Jake,
around.
man. I got the XI3 on my boat too, man. That thing is, that's a
It
game changer. I don't
spoils
like
you.
using the term, but it's awesome. Yeah.
It's a spoiler. It's so good, and we still go out a lot in my buddy's crawdad, to some spots that are like just untamable to get to with a kayak, pretty much. And we go out in that thing, and I miss the XI3. I'm like, where's my button for spot lock? Like, we're getting blown around in the wind, and we're like dropping anchors and stuff, but it's still fun and out in that little crawdad.
Yeah, what a tool to have. I mean, this is my first year using an XI3. I had a Bixby jet for the last 3 years, and cool little motor. But I was looking at the Newport this off season for my new boat, and one of our players, Matt Lee, is like, "Hey man, why wouldn't you just get the best? Spot lock is a tool that you're gonna want this competition."
Mm-hmm.
Great point, man, and I'm happy he talked me into it, because it is a game changer.
Yeah, I always refer to it, when I'm talking to people, it's a multi-purpose tool versus, and I'm not dogging on the Torpedo or the Newport. It's a single purpose tool. It gets you out to where you want to go, and that's it. But the XI3 does everything. So I've enjoyed having it. But I will say, if you run into something, it is not good. And I've had that happen once, and it pulled the bolts up through the mounting bracket, and I was probably maybe 3 miles away from the ramp. So I was holding that sucker, and actually I just pulled it up and pedaled back. But it was scary. But well, let's start with just kind of generalized overhead, because I know we could get real deep into all the intricate details, but I was looking through just the KFL website, and the scheduling. My first question is, and I want to share this up on the page for people to see. You guys might be muted for a second. Actually, maybe not. There you go. So the scheduling, it's a little bit confusing, and again, I haven't read through the rules, so excuse my ignorance, but explain. I'll throw it to you, Steven. Explain kind of the scheduling. What does it mean, Massachusetts versus Maine, or at Maine Yaks? Does that mean that somebody gets to choose a body of water, or what?
Yeah. So the way it is, there's 8-man rosters. The games you start for your players. So 4 out of the 8 versus 4 of their players. So it's 4 versus 4, top 10 bass. The 10 bass can come from anybody, whether it's spread out between the 4 of you, or one guy gets, say, I don't know, Jake, how many year fish did we use last week? 7?
7, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a team effort, but the home team is Maine there. So before the season, I think April 1st, we had to declare our home lakes. So you're able to have 4 home lakes for your team that are 50 miles from like your state boundaries. So you can kind of go across if you want, but they're trying to keep it in your state. Some teams have 2 states. 2 teams. But yeah, so Maine will let them know then April 1st when we declare the home lakes. Each team will find out what lake they're going to be fishing on that game.
Okay.
So Massachusetts now knows, like that already happened, but they would know week 1, we're going up to play the Maniacs, and we're playing on China Lake or Messalonsky. They would know that. They'd have all this time to prepare and map study and, figure out which of their 4 guys they're going to send. Hey, these 2 guys did good at a KBF tournament there, so they're in. This guy fishes that type of fishery well, so we're going to start him. This guy is working. He can't make it, so we're going to dress this guy that we think will do okay. So, there's a lot of strategy involved. You don't want to give your opponent a leak that they're going to come in and crush you, but you also keep them rebroadcast the game. So you want to keep, you want everyone to catch fish, but you definitely want to win. And the home field advantage, as you can imagine, you're fishing guys that going to visit a place, and these guys have fished those lakes their entire lives, and you've got a couple days to pre-fish and try to figure something out.
Right.
So the whole field advantage is huge.
So, how many days would you say, or weeks, would you guys have going into a new month? How much time would you have to prepare for that first event? I mean, I guess how soon will you know? Is it, if you have an
So I
event
think the season started mid-June, and we found out April 1st. So
okay. Okay, so
yeah, like what, 2.5 months to figure that out.
Okay.
But things change, right? Like, we added you for a reason, right? If we make it down to Chickamauga, we're from up north. To be transparent, we don't have a guy that's fished there before. You fill the gap, the piece that we were missing as a team, and we could utilize that. Also, it's strategy pre-fishing wise, because if we make it that far, we might only be able to come down there a couple days, where we can have you already have experience there. We can send you out the week before, stuff like that. So,
right.
We're always game planning. We got games coming up that we've had players focusing on for a few weeks now, going to check out the Charles River, going to check out Maine, for our away games. And we got half of our 8-man roster focused on the home games that we still have. So,
right.
There's a lot of strategy involved.
So around April, the schedule pretty much. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Now, when it comes down to the playoffs, that was a piece of the conversation that you and I were having, and you mentioned, you could have maybe it wasn't a playoff, but a road game. You could be St. Clair. You're just not sure. I guess that boils down to you just don't know who you're going to be competing against in that particular event yet, so you don't know where it's going to be.
Yeah.
So the KFL is pretty much structured like the NFL or other major league sports. So you'll have your division winners, like we're in the Northeast Division, right? There's an Atlantic Division. What's the one out west, Jake?
Oh, I'm trying to think of there's Atlantic. Is it Mid-Atlantic out there or no?
But anyway, so you'll have your division winners, then you have your wild card teams, right? So there's rounds like there are in the NFL. There's a wild card round. There's a divisional round. There's a North Conference semifinal. Then there's a North Conference championship. And then same thing down south in the Southern Conference, because of the North Conference, Southern Conference. And then the KFL Cup, which is the championship, is held at a neutral lake. So that's on Chickamauga this year.
Gotcha. Now,
so we don't know who we're playing yet, because we're halfway through the season, so we still got to get there. I think if we win another game or two, we might clinch a playoff spot. But, right now, I think we're in first in the Northeast. I think we're in second place because of point differential in the North. So at this moment, if the season ended today, the wild card teams would play, and then we'd play the winner of that. And then, if we won and Motor City won that divisional round or the conference semifinal, because I think we get a first round bye, then we would have to go to Motor City because they have, I think, 30 points ahead of us. If you look over where it has like a point differential, I think they have like 30 more inches than us.
Okay. So as per just during the event, it's kind of like a 4-man scramble. If you play golf, you take the best guy's score, but generally it's the best 10 fish. So you got 4 guys fishing, best 10 fish overall.
Yep.
Now, are there any rules? Say Jake smashes them, he catches, a limit of 20-inch smallmouth. There's no ruling against taking all his fish.
Nope. So it can be all my fish. It can be a split. Most of our events have been pretty evenly laid out, like 2, 3, 2, and that will be our limit. And or something.
Each guy.
But we have had events where one guy just smashes them, and I only put 2 fish in. One person puts 1 big largemouth in, and then all the rest are from one guy, all smallmouth.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's strategy, where we're going to send one guy looking for a big fish, and then I'm going to fill the bag, and then this other guy's going to try to catch 2 or 3 good ones to put into the bag.
Right.
And so there's a lot of strategy to it in it, which I like. It's not always like, oh, just 5 fish limit. I'm gonna go try to catch the 5 biggest fish I can.
Yeah.
And the tournaments are a little bit shorter, just because they're. What was our last one? 6 to 1.
Yeah. So it's 7 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a piece, that I didn't think about, like what you mentioned, Jake. You could have that one angler out there, throwing the mag draft, looking for that one, 24-incher.
Yeah.
We did that last week. We sent one guy out. We were fishing a smallmouth lake, but there's largemouth there, and we sent him. He was throwing the mag draft all day, just looking for that one kicker for us, because we knew that between Jake and I, we'd be able to fill a limit with, probably 17.5-inch and up smallies. So,
yeah,
we thought the game would come down to the kicker. So we had 3 guys focused on, well, me and Jake's focused on smallmouth. We had one guy doing both. We went to an area where there was, he could hit a largemouth spot and a smallmouth spot. And then we sent one guy specifically to go get us a giant largemouth.
Gotcha. Did he get it?
Not this game, but he did the game before.
He did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. Game of numbers, man. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. So Jeff Big Rig Mataba, that's a teammate, correct?
Yes.
Big Rig, yeah.
All right. What's up, Big Rig?
Quite a personality.
Shout out, man. Quite a personality.
What's up, yeah.
I hear that, man. That's awesome.
Great guy. He runs the local trail up in New Hampshire as well. He runs Granite State Kayak Anglers. So.
Okay. So I mentioned before, one of the guys in our comments, David Walker. He's a Mississippi guy. He's got some interest in this. So Mississippi, man, it needs a lot more involvement on the kayak side. It's been a pain. I mean, and I haven't personally been involved, but I've seen these guys try to get things going up there or down there, and just need a little oomph to get off the ground. So maybe old Walker's the guy. So
have him reach out to me. I can help him out. I mean, I know the KFL is capping at 32 teams. We have 28 right now, but they want to fill those last teams with areas that they need teams in. I know they're looking for a team in Mississippi. They're looking for a team out of Ohio, Illinois, Missouri area, right? So they're looking to fill those first before they allow other states to bring on duplicate teams. Like there are some states, like Florida has 2. They have the Florida Copperheads and the Sunshine State Swamp Donkeys.
Massachusetts.
2 great teams, but I mean that's like New York for any other sport. Like Florida with fishing, they should have 2 teams. So I don't have a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, the league has been growing pretty fast. This is only our 2nd year doing it. Like I said, last year I was with Massachusetts. We won the KFL Cup, and it was awesome. And I knew that it got big quick. I mean, by the end of this off season, it seemed like everyone around here knew what it was and wanted a piece of it. So it's good that you're having us on. If you guys down there don't know much about it, you got some great teams in the area. You can always try to reach out, see if they need, if they're interested in bringing on more talent, if they need players next year, or, you're one of those states in need, your region doesn't have a team yet, and you can field the team to compete. We'd love to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. A local guy, Joel Spear, he's kind of how I heard about it, just seeing him post about, the KFL and going out to fish the Cup and stuff like that, with the Arkansas Hogs. So, there's been a little bit, but, I think even his involvement in it is kind of, on the other side of the state, from where we're at, so, here in Memphis, we're a rock throw away from Arkansas and Mississippi. So, we're all just kind of right here, but yeah, man, it's growing. And that's this sport, dude. I mean, this sport anything that happens with it, it ignites like a fire. and people just buy into it because I mean it's so affordable, and people are making money off of it. It's honestly like unlike any other kind of sport out there. Just with how the accessibility and how many people can get involved in it.
Yeah. It's
So
the second fastest growing sport in the world behind pickleball. No idea what that is, but I mean, if you guys tried to get a fishing kayak during COVID, how popular it's getting. I think, looking at the sport of fishing in general, I mean, I know the stats are, within the sport of fishing itself, you're on, if you look at those graphs, it's going straight up. I think the evolution of the sport, you're seeing guys like Ike and
oh yeah, those guys getting involved.
there's all these guys sponsored by Old Town and Hobie and such, and it's definitely, I think, because of the price, and I mean, you can cart off a kayak if you had to. So I mean, anyone can really get into it.
Yeah.
Like you said, you meet some great people out there. You meet friends. You have a good time. Your friend wins an event. You're happy for them. It's a really cool sport. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah. And I think underwater basket weaving, I think that's coming up real quick. That might give us a run for our money, but
Zumba, who knows? But
yeah.
No, it's pretty cool, man. Yeah, it is taking over though.
It is. So, Jake, I want to throw this question to you, buddy.
Yep.
Did you do much competition? Well, you mentioned, you did the KBF, and you said something about elite kayak fishing. Is that a specific league that I haven't heard of, or you just mean kind of overall like the elite series tournaments?
Elite kayak fishing is a New England trail. So last year when KBF wasn't sending events up to us, a couple of our local guys got together and said, "Hey, let's start a new trail. If KBF's not going to send the guys up, and we're not going to have events up here, let's start our own trail." And I was all on because it was like there was nothing up here. I mean, the closest event was probably Potomac River, and so I was I didn't know what I was going to do that year, if I was going to travel really far to events. And so Jason Gardner, Adam Rourke, and Ken Wood put all their heads together, and they started a trail. And I mean, it's been an incredible trail. And they're getting good numbers, 88 guys, 65 guys at most of their events. And they're going to really good lakes. And I got AOI in that trail last year. Incredible season. Everything went right in that trail last year. Yeah. And
good
so
payout, great lakes. Yeah, I mean, started kind of during COVID, like Jake said. East, it's it's for the Northeast. This year it's been a little different because those big trails are actually coming up here. But the lakes they've been fishing, and it's the lakes they've been picking are, man, it's an awesome trip.
But the good thing is, with the events coming back, EKF has paired with the KBF events to make them even bigger events.
Right.
Which is
kinda
awesome
like
because you're already traveling. If you're already traveling, you can double down on events. So you can do the KBF, you can do the EKF, you can do the Pro Series, and people are walking away with big money if they're winning all three. So it's great. Yeah. It's a good opportunity, but you can always drive and only fish one of them. But if you're there, you might as well fish them all. And it's been fun, and I'm super excited. They got Winnipesaukee up next, one of our home lakes for us, and we're really excited for that big event. That's going to be a KFL, EKF, KBF all-in-one event. So that's going to be a crazy one. 2 days on Winnipesaukee, Saturday and Sunday. Just EKF's only Saturday, but KBF is going to be both days.
Okay. We have a KFL game or a game.
Yeah, KFL on Saturday along.
We better do well Saturday, man. We got 3 events running concurrently. So
I do love that. I mean, Hobie BOS, they do that as well. I've been kicking myself in the butt because I didn't jump into the club tournament with the Chickamauga event, and so I missed out on some big money there. I think we had 200 anglers or 196 in the Hobie BOS event, and there was probably over 100 guys fishing the club stuff that was running in conjunction. So it's man, it's just there's just so many different ways to do this. And we were in fact one guy that showed up to the ramp. He showed up. If you're not aware, of course, I'm sure you guys are. Hobie, they don't allow motors. So this kid, he shows up to the ramp with the Torpedo on the back, and we're like, whoa, dude, which one are you fishing? He's like, oh, I'm just fishing the club event. We're like, oh, okay.
And you
But
can
so I
do
mean, yeah, you can fish the big one, or you can fish just the local deal, and go after those AOI points. But what I wanted to ask you is, as a competitor who fishes both, the KFL, and I'm sure you fish some of the single, angler events. What is that like for you? Going from fishing, as a single angler to fishing in a team format. Do you find that putting together that pattern and kind of your flow of things, does it mess you up at all, or do you find that it helps you?
Like we did the Champlain KBF event and KFL event together. So the good thing is we pre-fished as a team, and we basically said, "Hey, let's team fish." And I know you probably know it's a big thing coming up, and it's a big debate, the team fishing thing, and everyone fishing together for these big events. And it definitely helps. I mean, when you got two guys that are really good with electronics and bouncing ideas off of each other, and one guy gets onto a bite and you can do the same thing or something similar, and you get on a different bite than he's on, and then you're really connecting the puzzle pieces a lot faster. And it definitely helped. I mean, during that KFL game on Champlain, with the KBF event, we had two guys that were in the top two for that event, and we were fishing side by side. um, I mean, it helped us get locked in on fish, and I don't mind sharing information. I know it's staying within a tight knit group, and it's
Yeah.
people that I've known for a little while now. Um, and we've fished together. We've always fished against each other. Like Matt Lee, I've always fished against him, and we were always back and forth. And it feels good to have him on my side now, where it's not fishing against him, it's fishing with him.
Yeah.
That definitely helps. And just having somebody else, second set of eyes, really helps.
Right.
And
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point you made. Fishing as a team, because whether you knew it was going on or whether it was broadcasted, dude, it's been going on for since the old KBF days.
Oh,
Yeah.
You probably heard the term the Bluetooth crew. I mean,
yeah.
some of the trails, it kind of eliminated that, but man, I think I'm a competitor, dude. When I go out, a lot of times I'm like, man, if I win, then that just means I beat everybody that was working together, and that's in a single angler event. That gets that works for me. But it definitely helps, because you don't have that 250 on the back. You can't cover as much water, so you got your buddies. You're covering different stuff, helping
Yeah.
each other out. So it's good stuff, man. Especially like a lake like Winnipesaukee and Kentucky Lake down here, man. They're massive, man. Just most people maybe get 2 days of practice in. You just can't cover that much water.
But with
Um,
2 days and four people, you can do 8 ramps, if not
yeah,
more, if you're doing 2 ramps in a day. And basically, you can send guys to almost every ramp on a lake very quickly and eliminate the water or find productive water. And then you're going to send two guys to the productive water. And it definitely helps having, and we're bringing guys that aren't really necessarily going to be on the top starting four, but they want to help the team. They're invested in the team, and they're there to pre-fish and help us, even if they're not fishing, which has been great. Everyone's been a team player, even if they're not fish the event. They're really invested into the sticks, and that's great.
yeah,
Yeah. Like Jake, I couldn't get anything out of that kid last year before we were teammates. Like, hey, what color are you throwing? Like, he'd tell me, yeah, purple. Bull crap, right? But
I caught him
you know,
I caught him in the water over there by the tree.
team aspect of it, man. This kid is a prime example. He's probably the most accomplished at AOI, and he cashes those checks. He's one of our stars, and he's been willing to share his knowledge and the juice with everyone on the team to help the other anglers get better, do better in certain games or tournaments.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah. I mean, last week, I know Winnipesaukee very well, right? But what I usually do usually works out well. For some reason, the bite Saturday wasn't working. So Jake gave, the week before, Jake was telling me, yeah, going to try what he does, and then suddenly I'm pulling him in. So
Good deal.
yeah,
I thought, man, it definitely helps. Growing up as kids and stuff. You played in teams and whatnot. Then you kind of lose that as you grow. You get older. And Steve, man, I'm 35. I don't know how old you are, buddy, but you get into the workforce and all that kind of stuff, man. You kind of lose that. So it's nice to kind of have that team format.
I
To
think
be a
that's
part
why I
of.
enjoy it so much, being back in our game again.
Yeah.
Just growing up playing sports, I mean, it's definitely the coolest thing about it. You're new to the team, but you're in the group chat. How much these guys and girls are talking and working together. I mean, those guys fishing different fisheries than we're focused on. People are going different days and then sharing their intel, giving you like a summary of what was working, where they went. So it's good that they're working together, and you'll see other stuff that people are just talking just to talk. It's nice being back part of a team again.
Yeah, definitely. So, Steve, I want to throw this question at you, man. As as the owner of a KFL team, talk about what that really means and kind of what your responsibilities are from start to finish. I mean, what all the roles that you play. I mean, I know as an owner, it's a lot. So break it down for us. You don't have to go into details and stuff about your sponsorships, but I know it's a big part of what you do. So just kind of talk a little bit about your involvement from that angle.
Man, so yeah, I mean, you want to start a team, the league entry fee was $1,500, so you got to figure out a way to come up with that. You got to roster at least 6 anglers. You can have 8. All the teams have 8 anglers now, and you want to pick anglers that are versatile or have different strengths, right? Like you want your power fishermen, you want your guys that are good fishing deep, guys that are good fishing in swamps, right? So you get guys that are good on rivers. You want to have a good mix, but you want to make sure that they're all committed to the team. I mean, the way the schedule, we started talking about the schedule earlier, we got away from it, but KFL does the best job they can to schedule around. Like we'll have weeks off where there's no game because there's a big event going. They do their best to not interfere with other trails, but that's also why there's 8 guys on a team, because people are fishing other events, whether it's a local event or a national event.
Right.
You got to get, you get your players. You need to get jerseys. All this stuff costs money, right? You know that you're going to have to travel, play the away games. You're going to have to get lodging. So you need monetary support. So then you got to go out, try to bring sponsors. So, it's not always the easiest thing, especially if you're targeting, endemic sponsors that you're going after. These companies that get, 1,000 messages a day from some loose bait caster that, caught a fish on a goofy bait. Hey, sponsor, right? So
Yeah,
you have to kind of show them that you're offering something different, right? We're doing something different here. The games are broadcasted. The first year we had, throughout the course of the first season, the KFL, over 1 million viewers tuned in to watch throughout the whole season. But that's pretty incredible to think about. Over 1 million people tuned in to watch all our games throughout the season. We're out there fishing on kayaks. So I mean that, we're trying to offer something different. There's a lot of big names in this league now, and you're seeing more and more sponsors coming from different areas, right? Like we got Expedition Trailers, which is like an off-grid trailer company. They thought it was a great fit because they know that we're tournament anglers. We travel. We usually have to get an Airbnb. Why not just camp out, at the ramp or at the campsite? So they saw it as a good fit. The Nazwa Resort, that's a vacation resort on our lake. So you're just going to find the right partners. And the way I treat it, it's a partnership. Like we're willing to do whatever they ask of us, whether it's product help with new product ideas, helping get new retail locations.
right.
They want us to take a few of their employees out or themselves out fishing, or do a fishing, whatever they want, because our sponsors are providing our season is pretty much, full ride. We have everything paid for, so that we're able to go fish this season. So thanks to them, we'll do whatever they want from us,
Yeah.
So that's part of it. And then, you got to pick your home lakes. Then you got to, the tough job is, figuring out which 4 or 8 are you going to start. So not only you're the owner, you're also the coach and the general manager, right? So, okay, we'll take the Charles River. Well, we'll do a pass game. So Rhode Island, who are we going to fish in Rhode Island? Week 1. It's a tough game, almost an impossible team to beat at home. Who am I gonna start? All right, this place is choked out. It's a very tough bite. There's some laydowns, a lot of grass. Doesn't get that deep. Gets like 8 feet deep. Who am I going to start in this game? I was fortunate that 7 of my players for the weeks leading up to it, different days or like the whole weekend. I mean, 7 people went down and pre-fished that for me, so I could actually get that intel back of who was doing the best, where they were finding them, what they were catching them on. So then I go back and say, all right, who's good at doing that? Right. Say it's a frog. All right, who's good with the frog? Or I'm starting these 2 guys. Who's good with a chatterbait? Starting them. Where are my jig guys? Starting them. So that's been the toughest part. But so far, I felt, we're 4-0. We've started the right 4 games so far. So that's kind of the toughest part right now as an owner. Is figuring out the coaching side of it. Who are we going to put in? Who are we going to start these?
Yeah.
But you have to set up. It's a business. So I had to get an LLC. Right. You got to get a graphic designer to make the logo. We got the bear will stand up here. The graphic designer to make the bear logo and stuff. But it was a ton of work. Man, when did we start this, Jake? November. I put a lot of time into
a lot of messages back and forth, a lot of phone calls, some meetings, all kinds of stuff, and and the work's not done yet. I mean, it's not like you get the sponsor and then you just sit there. Oh, we got the sponsor. No, you got to help them out throughout the year, and they're helping us out a lot, and they've been all incredible. I mean, they're really helping us, and then we're trying to help them as best as we can throughout our busy schedules with the events. And but I think we're doing a good job helping all of them. So they've been awesome to us, and we've been trying to do our best to give back to them as much as they.
That's what it's all about, man. Yeah.
We're not just looking for the money to run, right? We're trying to help.
Of course, yeah. It's
I don't want to ever have to do that again, chasing down sponsors, man. So it's like,
oh, I know, man.
We have the right partners. Let's just they made us happy. They've allowed us to fish all year. Let's do everything in our power to make them money, to generate business for them, so that they're happy with us. So that next year it says, hey, it's a new year.
I find the biggest challenge with approaching companies, especially from in the sport of kayak fishing, and particularly non-endemic sponsors, is for one, just that initial getting their attention and explaining what the hell kayak fishing is to begin with, and then getting into all the details. But is there any are there any standards from a management or an owner's perspective? Is there any standards set forth by KFL that says it has to be done this way within these parameters, or are owners pretty much free to run their teams the way they want?
Yeah, we're all our own independent businesses, so there's no restrictions on what sponsors we can bring in. The league has their own sponsors, and some other individual teams have sponsors that are direct competition with that, but we're allowed to do whatever we have to because it's our business and our franchise, so we're allowed to run it the way we want. Some teams do better than others at different things, right? Promotion or social media content or film or anything, but it's kind of out of the we were in the infancy stage, but I think it's really getting to that next level right now. This year's been fantastic so far. I mean, I expected it to be, but it's going really well, and I think I'm excited to see what the KFL is in a few years from now.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, definitely. I mean, the one thing that I found interesting, and I want to shift this over to Jake. Talk a little bit about, I haven't seen very many of it, but the guys running live streaming, is that a requirement? Is that a requirement for specific events, or is it a requirement for every event? Dive into that for us, man.
Yeah. So they definitely want you to be live streaming as much as possible. And I know we try to do it as much as you can. And there is problems. So some events everyone can't stream. I mean, their service, phone service is it's a killer of the stream. But we try our best to get everybody on stream and make sure they have good service in the areas that they're streaming. It's not fully required, but I mean, we got sponsors behind us. The sponsors want to see it, and they want to see the fish catches. And you're trying to put on a show, so the streaming is very important. And it took a little bit of getting used to. I mean, you definitely lose a couple minutes in the event because you're streaming, and then you're taking extra photos that you probably wouldn't take. So that takes a little bit extra time because there are individual scores for every event. So there is a 10 fish limit for me personally, and then there'd be a 10 fish limit for Steve personally, and so on for their 4 players. So it might not help the team bag, but it will help my personal bag. So I got to take a photo of it. So that means I got to get off stream, go back on the stream, and take the photo. So that takes away time, but it is what it is. And there's fantasy going on, so it helps your fantasy people that picked you for that week. So there's a lot going on, and but streaming is very important.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of lakes that teams had that there's no service there, and the league was, the league was on them to, hey, we want that lake. We want you guys to post that lake, but it's more important to have the broadcast going. Like, you need to have service. They're cracking down more on the broadcast. I think going into next season, it's going to be mandatory that each player will have to be broadcasting.
Okay.
So, as the owner, that probably means that you're going to have to supply your players with the equipment to do so, right? They told us you can run the stream from your boat, but I don't want any of my players or myself doing that when you're trying to fish. So each game, I'm appointing one of my players to do the broadcast for them. So that's something less that we have to do while we're on the water.
Yeah, that's a friend of mine. We've gone back and forth on how can we figure this out. I mean, how can we broadcast live from our boats and stuff like that? Because like you guys mentioned, man, if you can do that, even if you're just out fun fishing, man, they can get a lot more views. And of course, help your team or individual, following, and then also, support your sponsors in that way. So you guys, have you guys had any success with any particular products or any particular setups with, getting a better quality stream out on the water?
Blackbeard, you can probably talk about that. I know you do some personal thing for fun.
We're all like last year we were talking about, we're always trying to figure out a better way to do it. You can't really live stream through the GoPro. You can't have a computer on your kayak. So what we do right now is, I got 4 phones for like, what are they called? Burner phones, right?
Yeah.
For each of my players to use to submit their fish. So they can have their actual phone as the broadcast phone. So similar to how we're doing this broadcast right now, that's the best way at this moment to do it. But we're always looking for new ideas, even if it's, hey, I got what are they called? Jetpacks, a hotspot, mobile hotspot to help service. The mounts we use, everyone kind of has their own setup. There's a few recommendations on what to use for like a boomstick or YOLO Tech, and then buy like the YOLO Tech phone adapter instead of like the GoPro holder on the top. But then you got to think, streaming, your phone's going to die real quick. So now you're going to have it plugged in at all. You're going to have to install a USB port or get a portable, phone charger or something. So,
right.
I mean, at this moment in time, I mean,
I got mine right here.
Is that what you use?
Yeah, the waterproof one, and I mean this thing will charge my phone like 5 times over, and that's what I wrap my cord around my. It's a Yak Attack to a Ram part, and it goes up in front of me. I don't prefer the over the shoulder look. I like the face to face look, so I can talk to it, and that's just what I like. And I don't want people seeing my graphs.
I don't like the over the shoulder look either, man. Because somehow my rod always smacks it.
Yeah.
You got to put it on the correct side. Like if you're casting this way, you want the mount over here.
Well,
the lead one's behind the shoulder, so you can see the fish getting caught and brought into the boat.
Yeah.
And that's kind of been the tough thing with the broadcast. A lot of these anglers don't want people to see their spots, so you're kind of sacrificing. Some guys who have the over the shoulder have decided that this is more important than my spots. I'm going to show where I'm fishing. I'm going to show, they're going to be able to see my graphs, my bait. They accept the fact that they're going to sacrifice that for the show.
Right. Yeah.
But sometimes it's easier to just have the phone in front of you too. I mean, I switched up during mid-broadcast last week because I was having service issues. I kept getting kicked out of the broadcast. I said, enough of this. And I have the USB port, my phone up front. I just switched it over to that because it's easier.
Yeah, and the problem is if you're running into, say you put your phone out on a boomstick way out and you run into a problem where you're getting kicked out of the stream every 20 minutes and you're having to bring that boomstick in, take your phone off, reset it, put the boomstick back out. It's a lot harder than just reaching down in front of you, grabbing your phone, doing it super quick, clicking it back in your mount, and it's all right in front of you. So that's why I like the in front, and it's easier for me to grab my phone off, take a photo of a fish, click it back on, and that's one of the main reasons I do it in front of me.
Okay. You want to get the earbuds. I got new earbuds last week, and I caught a monster 12-inch smallmouth that gave a little extra shake, and I sunk the earbud on the right side, went boop, right in. I'm like, I'm glad I bought that thing. It lasted me about 30 minutes. But we're always looking for new ideas. I mean, I was looking at our sponsor, Expedition Trailers, who does off-grid stuff. They had a thing called a Wii Boost, which was like a portable router that you can install in your car or your camper, and it was small.
Yeah, I've seen those.
And cheap enough that I thought it'd be a good idea to get maybe 2 of those just to have, so that at least 2 of our players always have service. If we're on the lake, that like when we were on Champlain, I had no service all day. I didn't know if we were winning. I had to get off during the KBF event. I think I finished 12th with like an hour left, and I was on. But I had to get off and drive, load up my stuff, and drive somewhere where I knew I had self-service to submit my fish for the KFL. So service is an issue.
Always an issue, yeah.
And the technology, like what you're going to use. I mean, it would be cool if there was a camera that you could buy and just mount it. Like, you buy the 4-pack security cameras or something. There's a way that you could connect all those to an iPad or something. But I mean, we're still trying to figure out the best option. But the best option right now is to spend the smartphone.
Yeah, the equipment's out there. I was looking into like networking. Like the news stations, like the products that they use. But man, it gets real expensive real quick. I mean, they got some great products out there that will really boost your service, but you got to pay for the subscription, the monthly subscription for the service itself, and then all the products and stuff like that just to run the stream. I mean, it gets up into the tens of thousands, real quick for high quality stuff, But these guys, I mean, this is equipment that you can take out in the middle of the mountains, and run a live broadcast with, So, there's that is the one part of the sport that really needs to be figured out. Is I know some of the big series, they got the camera boats going around, but they're just pictures. They're not getting interviews with the anglers out on the water. And running any kind of live streaming. And that's just that piece that a lot of people have talked about, that's just missing with this sport to really elevate it to the next level. Because let's be honest, guys, I mean, so many more people can get into this sport versus going out and buying $100,000 Ranger boat, and doing that. I mean, young guys like Jake, and other guys coming out of high school. I mean, even in high school, dude, I couldn't afford, I couldn't afford a bass boat when I was in school, or anything. And guys in
Exactly.
college, but this sport allows that. It allows that accessibility for people from all walks of life, man. So, if we figure out that piece, I mean, maybe I'm shooting from the hip here, but I could see it surpassing, your elite series and stuff like that, just because it's more realistic, more obtainable for more people,
Yeah.
Just like social media, man. YouTube, people quit watching TV. They're watching Jake, they're watching Steve, they're watching whoever on YouTube and stuff like that, living their lives. I mean, people sit in front of a TV or a computer for hours and watch somebody live their life in their house. I mean, they're obsessed with it. So
Man, it's crazy.
we got to figure that piece out, man, as a sport. But that's really cool. I'm glad to see that KFL is kind of doing that, and trying to make that happen. I like that they're not making a requirement, but I like that they're pushing for it, to try and get that. I mean, that's the kind of thing that takes it, beyond BOS, beyond Bassmaster, kayak series
Will
and
make it
stuff.
different. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
team format, and the broadcast.
Yeah.
Team format everyone gets, but they're on us about the broadcast. And
Yeah.
we did it. Jeff Big Rig did a good job as the commentator last week. I had a lot of owners and Angulas reach out. You guys did a great job with that broadcast. Good job. That's
That's
for
cool.
my sponsors and what we're trying to do. I mean, I'm putting all this effort into my team, but I'm doing it because I want the KFL to succeed too. So
Yeah. Yeah. You
you
capture that moment, man. You capture that passion in the moment. That's
oh
what
man,
sells, man.
you did. I
See
can send you a clip. So the Motor City Ambassadors
I
are.
knew you were going to talk about this clip. I
Oh
knew it.
man, you got to see this clip. So I'm sure you heard of Mike Elsey, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, former KBF national champion, guys at
Yeah.
Hammer.
Yeah.
He plays for the Indianapolis Knights. They went and they were on the road. Look, Elsey did good at the St. Clair event the week before. The KFL event was the following weekend, and the Knights were visiting the undefeated Motor City Ambassadors. When we got off the water, I mean, Indianapolis was winning that game. It was super close. It was like 170, 174, like 173 in a quarter or something. Super tight game with like an hour to go. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, I knew Elsey was going to do well. The Knights were going to do better than people thought, but I thought they were really going to pull it out. But there's a clip. He's got a 6-pound small, a monster. You can see his rod getting pulled. Just being able to capture that moment, and it broke him off. And the guy was trying to not cry while the commentators were asking questions. And you felt it because we've all been there, right? Like,
Yeah.
I felt so bad for the guy because that was a winning fish. They would have beat him. We would be in first place in the North. So we wish he landed it, but. I mean, moments like that, capturing that. I mean, that's a highlight right there. It sucks that it's at the expense of someone losing the game-winning fish, but on the other end, you're capturing the game-winning catches. You're seeing, Cayman Rasmussen. What did he catch? Like a 25-inch largemouth down in Texas earlier this year. I mean, you're seeing stuff. You're seeing some crazy stuff, some crazy scenery, and you're getting insight. Anglers are telling you what they're throwing. That pretty much what they're doing. So if you're new to the sport, you can see some of the best in the country kind of telling you what they're doing on a specific lake and what's working.
Right.
I think it's going to be great after we have all these videos is when you're going to start traveling to these big KBF events, you can go watch these videos and see, hey, maybe this is a similar time of year. What was this guy doing? You got 8 people all fishing that lake. New people fishing the lake, and then the local hammer fishing that lake, and you can see exactly or get an idea of what they're doing. Are they fishing deep? Are they fishing shallow? Is there a split between it? And then take that information and run with it when you get down to these big lakes and basically study the film, which For some people, they won't like that. Other people will absolutely love that because they can get the good information before they
That's
go.
a lot of people have been talking about that, like the guys who don't want to get those spots, and it's for that reason, because they know, hey, our home lake. There's always, if your home lakes use, Kentucky Lake as an example. Like, hey, this, we fish here as our home lake, but there's a lot of national trails that come through here. Like, we don't want to, we're going to be fishing those too. So we don't want to do our stuff. And like our broadcast last week, we're playing the same lake this week. So the team that we played would be smart if they spent 7 hours to watch their game last week. They'd probably be able to figure out, oh man, I know that. I think they launched from here. I think I know where they're at. Let me try to see what they can do, right?
Yeah. I know we did that.
That's part of the sacrifice that we're going to make, because we're trying to do something different, put on the show.
I know we're going to watch that Charles footage a couple times over before we get there to see what those guys are doing. And I've watched it one time already, but I'm going to watch it again just to get a refresher on it. So
let's be honest, guys. I mean, we have all sat there and watched Kevin Van Dam and triangulated where he's at.
Same thing.
Navionics.
If you're going to travel for a tournament, or like you said earlier, we're all watching any YouTube video that we can, and you're looking for that time of year. You're looking for like as close to the date as you're going to be there, and what they're throwing and where they are.
Yeah,
no doubt. We're all doing that anyway. But
it was Toledo Bend. I was getting ready for the Toledo Bend, the Hobie Series event earlier this year, and I was scouring through Navionics, and I found this one waypoint somebody put in it, and it was KVD spot number 1. Talking about his tournament that he won out there back in like 2009 or something, and you go back and watch the video, it's like, oh yeah, that's that bluff wall right there, So and then you get out there, there's like 5 other kayaks sitting on it, But yeah, I mean that's why that's a part of the sport.
You just gotta go into Navionics and start dropping 5-pound smallmouth all over the lake, and then they'll just go look at those.
Throw everybody off. Yeah.
Going to the public waypoints on there that everyone can see in Navionics. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't ever really, trust those ever. I use mostly Garmin anyway. So
yeah.
But so question of the episode, you guys live scoping or you not live scoping? I love talking about this.
Let's go with you first. Are you doing it or no?
No, I'm not. And mostly because, man, I got the XI3, got power pole. I got so much crap on my boat already. I just don't know if I want anything else on it.
I do it. I love it, and I run 2 9-inch graphs on my boat, and it's an addicting way to fish, and it paid for itself in the first weeks I had it. Once I learned it and dialed it in, and I like it. I still will go up shallow and skip a frog and skip jigs under docks and stuff like that. But it's tough to beat that technology for smallmouth. And I think it really plays in the north. It depends where you live, really. If you're fishing,
I agree.
If you're fishing under 5 feet of water, it's a waste of money. But when you're fishing northern smallmouth, it's an investment, but it's worth the investment. And we got some discounts on them, so it helps a lot.
Yeah. Jake is a master with the live scope. Yeah. It's impressive.
I had a lot of time behind it before a lot of people were grabbing onto it on kayaks, and I'm pretty good with it. Not gonna lie.
I like the confidence.
Yeah. I am now. I got it before this season. I think I really started dialing it in probably 6 to 8, 2 months ago. I started getting the hang of it, but I'm still learning it. But
well, it helps when I set it up for you, so you didn't have to go through all the pain.
Yeah, Jake rigs all my stuff. Jake, get some, here's that.
Was that a diss? Was that a diss?
Yeah, you have the pain of a year of settings work where like I wasn't seeing fish because I had the wrong settings on, but it definitely helps. But I think I like it. I like it a lot.
Especially our home lakes that are deep, clear smallmouth fisheries where,
absolutely, yeah.
Jake, would you catch a fish in 130 feet the other day?
Yeah.
I mean, they're
They're deep.
Just being able to find them out there. I mean, it's like pre-fishing Friday was the best day I had with live scope. I mean, I was just looking at the graph the whole time. I also run two. I got a 7-inch and a 9-inch HDS live.
Yeah.
And I was just watching the screen all day. I was really dialed in on pre-fishing, and it was awesome. It's like a video game. It was a really fun day, and I caught a ton of big fish, and it was all because I was getting used to it and finding them. And it's cool because you can see that fish, you can see your bait, and then you can see that fish, and you can tell if the fish took it or not. So before you even feel anything, you're setting the hook, and you have one on. That's kind of the coolest thing about your experience.
But I think a lot of people that don't have this technology, they really think it's like a win-win-win with this technology. It's really not. I mean, I'll give you an example. I fished an event up in Maine, and there were 30 people there. 8 people had the live scope. I was one of the 8. I ended up winning that event with live scope, caught every fish on live scope. Or I'm running the active target, but the active target. And the other 8 people that had it skunked. So like, it's a tool. It hasn't really bitten me too hard yet. I think I'm still able to pull away from it and go back to like what I grew up fishing, pads, punching, that kind of stuff, which I still enjoy. But I know when it's time to lock it in my hand and go looking. And and sometimes if you're not scoping, you're hoping on certain lakes. Yeah.
I like that, man. That needs to be a T-shirt.
I know.
But yeah, like you'll still go back to the side scan, right? I mean, you get 2 graphs for that reason. You using that as well, it's still a tool.
And like in like Oneida, I went to Oneida, and there's so much grass in that lake. It was super hard to do the live scope thing, and but then you go to some other lakes where they're in the deep water, 50, 60 feet of water, and like Champlain, I fished in 70 feet of water, and it was unreal out there. I mean, could you have done it on 2D? Yeah. Would have been a lot slower on 2D? Yeah. Is it just more efficient on the live scope? Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely agree. It has its time and its place, and I think that if you can have that technology, but also have the discipline, like you mentioned, Jake, when to use it, when not, especially here in the South, man. I mean, for me personally, I wanted to wait because I wanted to hear the ins and outs. I wanted to hear how people are using it, how they're not using it, when it's working, when it's not working. And I've kind of dialed it in for myself that if I'm going to get it, it's going to be a pre-spawn deal for me, pre-spawn mostly because, some post-spawn too, but, most of the time, we're not, roaring over the top of these fish on ledges and stuff with the big motor. I can scan over the top of them and whatnot, but I would probably use it a little bit most, post spawn, but once they get around the spawn, I don't need it. It's covering water, looking for spawning beds, stuff like that. But pre-spawn, that's kind of one of my weaknesses. A lot of tournaments are using a lot of scope, forward facing sonar, in that pre-spawn because there's a lot of suspended fish. So that's kind of what's up.
Are you seeing a lot of your kayak guys locally getting it?
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of like you got, a lot of people are putting the 2 graphs, and that's kind of what started that movement was the forward facing sonar, and people are figuring out how to put 2 graphs on their boats and stuff, and the way I fish, I do a lot of offshore fishing as well. But most of the time when I'm offshore fishing, I'm looking for brush and stuff like that. A lot of times, I love brush pile fishing is my thing. But we're not fishing 70 foot of water. So it has its time and place for for sure. But
we don't get those brush piles up here. Like I know a lot of people are sinking brush piles down in the South. Or they're just naturally out there. We don't. I mean, I probably have 2 lakes that they're not even brush piles. They're like sticks, and there's fish on just 2 sticks out in the middle of nowhere. And if you have, it's like you have to have your side scan background before you get your live scope background. That way you can use both together. So like, I mean, if you have a really good side scan background, pairing it with that live just gives you that extra. Yep, they're here. They're good fish,
I agree. Yeah.
And if you can put those two together, it's lights out. Because I mean, you can run the side scan, find that one boulder, turn around, set up on that boulder, live scope the boulder, see the fish on the boulder, make that perfect cast. If you overcast, you can reel it up and make it sink right on the corner of a boulder. I know one of my local lakes, there's a boulder that has a cut in under it, and there's always 2 or 3 fish under that cut in. And there's no way you're going to see those fish on side scan. Cut in of a boulder that cuts in 3. It's a 3-foot cut in on the bottom of like a 10-foot boulder. And there's always 2 or 3 tucked in under it, and you cast out at them and they'll come up for it. And that's the kind of stuff that you won't see on your side scan unless you have it perfectly at the perfect angle and are really looking at that corner of that boulder.
Yeah. So I couldn't agree more, man. You know, if you start with the basics, you know, of side scan, you know, your like Garmin on the Garmin is clear view or down imaging. Yeah, your 2D get proficient at that. You know, that would be my recommendation, because a lot of people when they first get a graph on their boat, man, they're using the default settings. It's got all these fish icons. They think, oh man, there's fish everywhere. They're looking for fish, and that works in different lakes. A lot of times here in the South, you're looking more for cover and structure, like shell beds, you know, those little grass patches that are out there on that ledge sitting at 15 feet of water, you know, stuff like that. And you can cover a lot more water versus, you know, the forward facing sonar. But you know, what I fear, not fear, but I think a lot of guys that are going to be getting into the sport are going to see that as the end all. Hey man, I don't have to, you know, obtain all these other skill sets. I can just get this technology and go out and win tournaments. And then, you know, somebody comes along flipping 1 ounce weight, you know, under docks, whatever, and they're smashing them. And they're like, what happened? You know, I got last scope. You know, it's just, it's not the answer. You got to have those skills before.
You got to learn the basics of the fish finder before you.
Absolutely.
You live scope the frog. I'm sorry, you just can't do it. So there's always going to be that shallow power fisherman. I mean, I love watching like Kyle Welcher fishing, and I fish a little bit like Kyle Welcher does, with that frogging, flipping, punching background, and that's what I grew up doing. That's what I enjoy doing. I mean, if I have an off day, I'm either out throwing a big swim bait, trophy hunting, or I'm out frogging and punching and just having a good time up shallow, because I know for the next couple of weeks I'm going to be smallmouth fishing out deep, staring at a graph. I still like to go up shallow, and shallow fishing still a blast. I mean, you can't beat them eating a frog over eating a drop shot. You're like, man, they just ate my drop shot.
Oh no, man!
Floating on a frog up an inch of water,
blasting a buzzbait out of the water, a frog. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, skipping a buzzbait. You can't beat those bites. Or I do a lot of swim bait fishing, so big wake baits, the rats, that kind of stuff is some of my favorite fishing. Is throwing those big rats up in the shade lines, and those fish just come unglued for it. Yeah. Man,
we could go on and on and on. I've had a blast, guys. We're coming up on an hour 20. So man, we're gonna end the show. We got to have you guys back on. My co-host David, he's missing tonight, but he'll be on next time. And I want to talk to some more of you guys from the rest of the team. And you know, and hopefully we can get some more on from other teams in the KFL, because I really like. I'm interested, man. I like hearing more about it. So you know, this makes some really good conversation. But
sure.
I'm gonna let you guys go.
One question.
Yeah.
What are your first impressions? I know you're new to the KFL. We just added you at the trade deadline, which is weird for fishing. It's fishing, right? But like you said, it's a sport, kind of like a major league sport, where we had a trade deadline, and you're a guy that I had circled to bring on to help us and fill a hole that I felt that we needed going in the position that we're in. Mm-hmm. You know, we're 4-0 halfway through the season. I think we got a good shot to make the playoffs and make a run at the Cup. I wanted to bring someone in. You're a guy that I wanted to draw you in. What's your first impression of being a part of the KFL? I know you haven't got to fish with us yet, but what are your feelings so
far? Feelings. I mean, definitely feelings would probably not. don't want to use the wrong term here. I guess feelings might be different once I get involved in it more and actually fish and stuff. But talking to you guys and just hearing more about it and answering the questions that I've had personally, I dig it, man. I like it. I mean, I think it's an adjustment. Somebody like myself, dude, I'm a do-it-yourselfer. I mean, I change my own oil. If my TV breaks, I'm gonna try to break it down and fix it. So I mean, that's just how I am. When
You
it,
walk
and,
in
and
Home
when,
Depot, someone tries to help you. No, I know more than you. You're that
no,
type of
bro, yeah, I'm a pro. Yeah, and it's not ego. I like the projects, man. I like learning and stuff. So
yeah.
for me with fishing, like we were talking about earlier, a lot of people use other friends and stuff like that. And of course, me, I conversate with my friends and stuff, but I'm just a big, for me, like, if I'm going to win, I want to win because I put in all the effort. I went out and I figured it out because, at the end of the day, if your buddy told you where to go fish, like, and I'm saying like outside of, KFL, like where that's the goal, but, if your buddy said, or maybe some guy that not even fishing the tournament, hey man, I caught 5 pounders over here in the spot. Go fit. That doesn't mean you're a good angler. You're just good at taking advice from somebody else that told you where to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's just me personally. But when it comes to the KFL, I like the idea of the format and helping each other out and stuff because you learn, man, and that's what I'm big into. That's why a big reason why I wanted to do this podcast was to help other anglers, learn, educate, give back to the sport and stuff like that. So I'm excited to man, I hope you guys come to check, man.
I really do. I can't wait.
That's the
Yeah,
mission. Man. That's the mission.
yeah,
We're all about it, man. Our heads are down, and we're very focused on that. I mean, I don't think
yeah,
we could do, if we don't walk away with that cup, I think at the point we're at right now, we're not going to be happy about it. Like that's all we want right now.
Yeah.
So we're doing everything in our power to get there, brother. I
yeah.
hope we to see you soon. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if not, man, there's always other tournaments. If you guys ever want to come down for a Bassmaster or Hobie BOS, there's always tournaments down here, man, on the Tennessee River, Pickwick, especially Pickwick. If I had to compare the two, Pickwick to Chick, honestly, I would rather fish Pickwick. You got more smallmouth, spotted bass, stuff like that, and there's of course big largemouth. But of course, Chick gets a lot of publicity with the double digits coming out of there.
yeah.
But yeah, man, hope to see you guys soon. Appreciate you guys coming on. How can people follow you guys and follow your team?
Yeah. So Granite State Sticks on Instagram, Granite State Sticks on Facebook, and Granite State Sticks on TikTok also.
Yeah.
And then personal, you can follow me on Instagram, Jake Angulas, all lowercase, and also on Facebook, same thing, Jake Angulas, and that should pop up. And then Steve, you want to go over what you got?
Yeah, Blackbeard Bassin. But the KFL, you can go to kflfishing.com. You can also download the KFL app.
Yes.
So that's how you do your KFL
Okay.
fantasy lineup. You can look at the stats, the schedule,
The games.
news. You can watch each game live. You can. Each team has their own website linked to it. There's like a fan store too, so you can go buy a Granite State Sticks T-shirt if you wanted to, or Granite State Sticks sandals or a face buff, whatever. So
Saw the
download the
sandbagger
KFL
short.
app. It's available in the Apple Store or Android Store. So that's
Yeah.
something cool we have going on too.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. We'll be talking soon. Look forward to having you back on.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, guys. So great episode, man. A lot of information, a lot of new information that I was just unaware of. I'm a lot like you guys. I work a full-time job, family. So fishing, my ability to fish is a lot of here on the podcast or just when I get out to a lake. But I wanted to show you guys something real quick. I'm not sure if I'm going to be making these yet. I want to get you guys' opinion on what you think about this. But I've made a few shirts. I made a few shirts, a few designs, but I want to show you guys this one. This is a Lines End shirt. I'm gonna try to get this in the camera. Got the logo on the front. And then on the back, you guys let me know in the comments, man, if you like that, if you would be interested in purchasing one of these or wearing one of them, whatever. But guys, we're going to end it there. You all take care, and we will see you next week right here on Lines In Live.